So, you know how some people like to ask what your sign is to figure out, what kind of person you are? I like to ask what your favorite Monopoly piece is, and if you've ever been that person to just flip the table over so that the game can finally be over.
Just like rage quit at the end?
Yeah. Is it just me?
Ah, man. Okay, now I'm trying to think of all the Monopoly pieces. I know there's a dog and a hat and a car.
I think there's a shoe.
And a wheelbarrow.
Oh, and a thimble, right?
There used to be a thimble. The thimble got retired and something else got voted in its place. I forget, but apparently, the thimble got taken away by fans. They voted to get rid of it.
R.I.P. Thimble. I'm going to claim dog before anyone else does because I am completely obsessed with dogs. And they're very pure and probably don't belong in a Monopoly game that's based on just like capitalism and taking over the world with your money. But you know what? He can woof along. It's chill. What about you guys?
I'm going to claim that thimble because I like vintage things, collectibles, and I like older cars and older, just everything. I feel like the older the better. So,
do you know how to sew?
Not at all. Not even remotely.
Oh my God. I like to cosplay and I don't know how to sew either. That's amazing.
Yeah, I feel like a fraud kind of because the only thing I know how to do, I can glue with the best of them.
Yes.
But yeah.
So many safety pins, so much fabric glue.
Yes.
No stitches.
Yes.
0 stitches. A harsh gust in my Electra outfit would have blown all of those little red pieces of fabric right off of me.
That's great. And I'm definitely the type that will flip over the table. Like, for sure. I'm a horrible loser. And my siblings growing up would rig the system. My brother was always the banker and it was always just skimming off the top. So the cards were stacked against me from the very beginning. And I didn't figure it out until I was probably like 12 or 13. And from that point, it was just flipping boards 6 times sideways. So I'm definitely that type of person.
Rage quit.
Yeah.
Nicole, how about you?
I don't know. I don't play Monopoly, so I don't really know the pieces. But if I were to play, I saw that there was a race car. So I'll be the race car in honor of NASCAR.
Nice.
And I probably would end up flipping the table because that game lasts like 5 hours, and I'm not trying to play a game for 5 hours.
It's like that.
Yes,
I feel like
it really
the game
is.
eventually becomes who can last the longest.
Yeah.
And for me, I think it would be the shoe. I think it's classy. It's fashionable. You just put it on and you're on the go. I think that's what I would go for. I would go with the shoe.
You're ready to be a corrupt real estate broker, a banker, a jailer.
Hey,
what else are
if
you
it brings
in
in
that
the
game?
money. If it brings in the money.
Woo, capitalism!
Oh man, you know what? I think what I'm gonna do with like my family growing up is that we're gonna play Monopoly, and then the money that we have left over is the money that we get to use for the rest of the week. So we'll have to like use it in exchange.
You're gonna use actual
like,
money in Monopoly.
Well, no, like Monopoly money.
Oh, I see.
So we'll use that currency at home.
Nice.
Like if you want a can of soda, you have to give me like a Monopoly buck.
That's
or
kind
something
of
like
cute.
that. Maybe it'll encourage people to actually finish the game.
Our family Monopoly is called Unicorns versus Llamas.
Oh my God.
And it's about which majestical creature comes out on top. So I don't know what my kids are learning other than, you pull a chance card and it's like unicorns fart rainbows, advance 2 spaces. And it still lasts 3 hours.
That sounds
3 hours
so
of
much
that.
better than regular Monopoly, though, to be honest. It's so much better. I feel like I haven't finished a game because the last couple times I played Monopoly, it's just like we're drinking. So you just get like too drunk to focus on the game by the end of it. And you're just like, we all win. Money isn't real. Woo!
Recorded in Phoenix, Arizona.
It's the Pop Culture Junkie Podcast.
Welcome to the Pop Culture Junkie Podcast. This is your junkie, Alexander Castillo Nunez, coming to you live from a pre-recorded session. I have my co-junkies here, Shauna,
What up?
Hayley, and Nicole. What is up, guys? What is good in the neighborhood?
How's it going, everybody?
Chilling and killing.
Just living it up, living my life like it's golden.
It's good to see you guys. Yeah. It's good to be back together once again.
Right? Hey guys, what's up?
It's great. I'm happy to be here. Yeah, I feel like a week sometimes is just too long.
Right.
But I'm happy to join you guys and talk about some of the pop culture news that's happening. And do you guys have any new stuff that is going on? Anything you've been following?
Man, first of all, I just gotta say, I got my Fauci ouchie today, and I am living, man. Woo-hoo. It's a little sore, but it's okay. I'm here.
Which one did you get? Because aren't there like 3 different types?
I got Pfizer. Word up.
Okay. I hear that's the one that gives you like a 95% efficacy.
I have no idea, but you know what? They stuck it into my arm, and I took it, and I am living, man. I'm ready to party. Coachella. I don't think Coachella's happening.
I've been
this year.
eligible for like 2 months now or whatever, but I still can't get it because I've got the antibodies coursing through my veins like a superhero. So I'm waiting. I'm counting down. So I'm kind of jealous.
The brave antibody superhero here. Okay. So what I've been watching this week, I should have mentioned it a couple weeks ago, but my husband and I have started an MCU rewatch from the beginning. And we debated whether we wanted to go in chronological order and release date. We decided to go with release date order. And so we've already watched Iron Man 2. Last night we watched Thor. I haven't watched that movie in years, and Thor's kind of a dick in the first movie. He's like a petulant little dick. Is that the right word? I don't know. He's just kind of like, Father, I know what's best. I am going to be king. And like Loki's very like, what's the word I'm looking for?
He's justified in his response to Thor.
Like, I get it. Like Loki's so pissed at him, and like they make him a very sympathetic character in that first movie.
Are you purposely skipping the Edward Norton Hulk?
Yeah, we skipped that on purpose.
I was like, wait, I think there's one missing somewhere.
Yeah, we were like...
I didn't mind that one. I'm like the weirdo that kind of liked Edward Norton as the Hulk. I mean, it can't hold a candle to Mark Ruffalo. But
I feel like I watched it, that one when it was in theaters, and we got to that, and we were like, you know what? We're okay to skip this one. We'll just go right on to Iron Man 2.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessary.
Falcon and Winter Soldier comes out this week, so that's pretty exciting. Counting down the minutes.
Right? I think it's going to be so good.
I'm kind of a Sebastian Stan, if you know.
Oh my God. He is a beautiful man. I have been a Stan since he was in Once Upon a Time, because I low-key loved that show when it was on TV, except for the final season, which was crap. But he played...
And the Frozen season, let's be real.
Okay, I only liked that season because they had a lot of Captain Swan stuff go down that season, and that was my main ship. So I'm here for the ship. Always needed to set sail. But he played the Mad Hatter, and he was madly gorgeous.
Oh, man. That's one of my favorite roles. I wish I could play that role one day.
If we ever do a junkie reenactment of anything, we'll do Alice in Wonderland, and you can be the
junkie RPG.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
That's awesome.
What you guys been watching?
Man, I've been continuing my binge of Alias and Impractical Jokers, working my way through the seasons, and I'm right at the spot where Alias starts to suck really bad. So it's taking some mental effort to get through it. But I'm trucking on. And then I watched Yes Day with Jennifer Garner. Came out on Netflix. Super cute, adorable family film full of like rom-com tropes, but set in like a family setting. So we get like the makeover sequence, and the famous musical artist Her calls them up on stage to join her in a duet. And you're like, none of this would ever happen. But it's super cute. It's way over the top. And me and my family have been doing a Yes Day. We did it last year.
Is that where you just have to say yes to everything?
Pretty much, yeah. It's like you set some ground rules. Can't be illegal, can't be dangerous. You give the kids a budget to stick to, and travel restrictions. So you set like a distance for where you can travel. And whatever it is has to be completed as a family. So it can't be just, oh, I want to go here. I want to do this. It's got to be a family thing.
That's
but whatever they say
cute.
goes.
I want to do that, but like just with my husband.
Yeah, it was fun. I mean, my kids had us racing all around the city, doing all sorts of things and spending all sorts of money. But ever since it ended, so we did it last August. And ever since it ended, they've been asking, when is our next yes day?
That reminds me of that Jim Carrey movie. Didn't he have a movie called like Yes Man, where he has to say yes to everything?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, one of my faves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I love Jim Carrey.
He probably gets into more inappropriate shenanigans than Jennifer Garner, though.
Yeah. That's not a family-friendly film. Yeah. Definitely check it out. It's really, really cute. Perfect family movie. 100% pop it review. Go check it out.
Awesome.
Dope.
Nicole, what have you been watching this week?
The Bachelor, but I mean, we're talking about that later. I already knew everything that was going to happen, so I wasn't surprised. I just watched it to watch it.
For the drama.
Yeah, exactly. You got to.
How did you know?
Yeah, how did you know?
Oh, gosh. Come on. You got social media doing their magic 24/7.
She did some snooping.
Yeah, no, there's this guy on Twitter. His name's Reality Steve, and he is like the inside scoop to everything Bachelor, Bachelorette. He just has people, I don't know how or who, but people always just DM him information, and then he'll fact check it himself, and then he'll post it on his Twitter feed and be like, okay, well, this is blah, 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 this is blah, blah, blah. And so I'm like, okay, well, this is great because I'm ruining the season for myself. But then again, I'm like, I like to know because then I could put it out and act like I guessed it before it even happened.
You got the first scoop.
Exactly. Yeah. It kind of helps me out in a way, but now what else did I watch? Masked Singer premiered last week.
Did you guys see the reveal? Did you see who it was?
I would have never guessed who it was.
The most famous guest they've ever had.
I wouldn't even go that. I wouldn't go that far. That was a little dramatic, but
okay. In 3, 2, 1, it was
Kermit the
Frog.
Frog.
The Frog.
I wanted you guys to do Kermit the Frog voice. Kermit the Frog. I can't do
Kermit the Frog.
Kermit the Frog.
I can't do it either.
So I can do the yeah.
I have a question. Okay, I don't watch The Masked Singer, but I would think that if Kermit the Frog was singing, it would be very distinctive. It's like, what is an AC being green? Like,
it kind of was, and you could tell that the guy that voices him had to like lower his voice down an octave. It was like a really deep Kermit. He's like,
all right. So they kind of distorted it a little bit. So he didn't start singing. You're just like, okay, that's obviously Kermit the Frog.
And it was clearly rigged because he got voted out and he was not the worst one. So you know that they were like, we can't afford to keep Kermit on this show. We got to pay those Disney royalties. Like there's no way.
He's a very demanding guest star. He only eats green M&Ms. The finest crystal, lines of cocaine.
If you think about it, though, he's like so well known from, older generations to kids. So, know, if you want to start with a bang, get Kermit the Frog.
Yeah,
that's
Kermit,
true.
Man.
Yeah, it was good. That was a good reveal.
Something else I watched this week that I need to put a big fat drop it on. Ew, that sounds gross. That sounds like I'm going to drop something on it.
Because that's probably how you feel about it.
Something that I want to drop a big old deuce on this week is The Flash this week. So, so they recorded these episodes before the cast in the series had to go into lockdown for COVID. And then they had this huge break. And this episode and the one before it were filmed pre-COVID lockdown, but they had to revamp everything in order to wrap up the storyline and make it make sense. So Iris was in the mirror for like, oh my God, so freaking long. This poor woman was just in this like alternate mirror universe. And spoilers for anyone who didn't watch The Flash this week, Barry finally gets her out of this mirror, but in the process he gets like from the, what is it, Alex? The artificial speed force, right? He gets like super thinking powers.
Like, pretty much.
And just turns into like just all stripped of all emotion. It's just like, it is the most logical choice to get Iris out of the mirror.
And the powers are so cool. It's like being able to think faster than everybody else.
Yeah.
That you can see the future.
I was like,
and then he just becomes like this
jerk.
dude that you just don't. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, it's like, okay, these powers a little OP, and so I figured he wouldn't like last too long with them. But the fact that his like reunion with Iris is so void of emotion, and he ends up like kicking the asses of all of his friends, and then Iris, she goes straight from Mirrorverse to coma. Just
Nice.
Like, can Candace Patton not just have a storyline that's not her in a coma or in a Mirrorverse? I don't know. So I'm dropping a big fat steamy juice in the Flash.
I gave up on the Flash after, I think it was the 3rd season and probably the 50th time where Barry Allen's like, I'm the fastest man in the world, but there's 20 villains who are faster than me.
They cut that out of the intro. He's like, I'm the fastest man alive.
Yeah.
Except for Zoom. Except for the reverse
Except for
Flash.
Eobard Thawne.
Except for...
Like, what the heck? Yeah, I got so annoyed. I was like, give me a more captivating storyline. So it sounds like they have not, and I'm okay missing that one.
The funny thing about this show, and I guess it's like all of those CW shows, is like people learn the same lesson over and over. I'm like, how many times does this crew have to have a hallway talk where they work out so-and-so doesn't feel necessary enough, and so-and-so needs a pep talk because, I don't know, it's just... no one learns their lesson.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Something about these CW shows now, I feel like that's where like my superheroes are going to die. Which is why I'm kind of like concerned about this Powerpuff Girls on the CW.
Oh yeah. Did you guys see that? That's crazy.
Yeah. I feel like it is absolutely guaranteed to ruin my childhood. And they're really trying their hardest to take something that was pure fun and, full of child whimsy and just happiness. And they're like, we're going to turn it into a dark, gritty CW drama.
Oh,
and I don't know if you saw, but it's being developed by the same people who made Riverdale.
Yep.
So, Riverdale is based on the Archie comics, but has zero actual connection to the Archie comics. So I have the feeling that Powerpuff Girls is going to be the same way.
I did see that Archie and Betty finally banged like 2 episodes ago. And, I used to...
It took like a 10-year time jump for it to happen.
Dude, I was so into Riverdale when it first started. My husband and I were like, this is the tackiest show on television. I love it. But then it just got so ridiculous. And I'm like, these people are 16 and like Veronica owns an underground nightclub. It makes 0 sense. But yeah, they banged. So I'm sure that Bubbles is going to be banging someone at some point in the Powerpuff Girls show.
Yeah, I was reading like the recap of their characters, and so like they're picking up in their adulthood and they're all traumatized by being forced to fight crime as children. And I'm like, okay, way to remove like their autonomy. I don't know.
Yeah.
And Bubbles is trying to get her fame back. She's trying to become famous again.
Oh,
Blossom
she's going to be a pop star for
with,
sure.
Yeah.
All of
dealing
these
with
Berlanti
PTSD.
shows. Oh my God.
And then Buttercup is real upset about the whole thing and wants nothing to do with the superhero persona.
She's the bad girl rebel of the group. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Which she always, kind of was. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's like getting a dark, gritty reboot of, Barney the dinosaur. Like, I don't know. I just don't want that. It's not anything I wanted. And I love Chloe Bennett and I love Dove Cameron.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not excited for it. I'm not.
The Rugrats are all grown up and
addicted to cocaine.
Yeah, I was just saying they're all addicted to heroin and they're all selling their bodies.
What happens when Arnold realizes his football head has ostracized him from society? Where is he now?
Yeah. Speaking of CW shows, I think it reminds me of a show that I'm just going to go ahead and drop, that being Black Lightning.
Oh, I
watched it.
I wanted to like
season.
it so much. Yeah, I watched the first season too.
And part of the reason that I watched it was because in my head I had like this like theory that it was related to Static Shock. I don't know if you guys remember Static Shock, but it was like this like cartoon, and there was like this guy, this teenager who would like get a trash lid and like skate on it because he has like these like super like electric powers that he gets from all like the source around him. I enjoyed it as a kid, so I was like, all right, this is like Static Shock, but like a grown up. And it's boring. It doesn't keep you there. And some of the performances are just like, bro, like, please just let's recast this because this is not working.
Yeah. No, I feel that. The guy who plays Black Lightning, I feel like he does a really good job in the role.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
he seems like he's playing like a really great, like, you know, dad superhero combination going on. But like, yeah, some of those like teen actors who play like the crushes at the high school, I'm like, you want to take that line again, bro? It's pretty bad.
Yeah, and it's just even worse now. I just keep watching it. I don't know why I keep doing it to myself, but
That's why I'm like with The Flash. It's like I've dedicated so much time to it that I feel like I have to finish it at this point.
The Walking Dead.
Same.
You're still watching The Walking Dead.
I don't even know why I watch it. I tune in every Sunday and I'm like, this is so boring. And then there's like one gory moment and I'm like, yay! And then it's boring again. But I'm invested.
Man, I was out when Glenn died. I knew it was coming. I knew from the comics that it was coming, but I was still out.
Hi, I'm Hayley the Brave, teacher and mom by day, cosplayer and pop culture junkie by, well, also by day. I'm obsessed with all things fandom and I love to talk about it. So join me and some of my friends as we geek out about TV, movies, music, and all the awesome things that make life worth living. Listen to my podcast, 30 Nerdy and Thriving, available now on all major streaming platforms. We got to talk about the fact that J-Lo and A-Rod split up or announced that they're, because I was pretty invested in like their family TikToks and I'm a little
Me
disappointed.
too.
Okay, Nicole, is it confirmed that they broke up?
No, they are not broken up. They are on the brink of their relationship. He was in the U.S. She's in the Dominican Republic filming one of her new movies, and he just flew out to the Dominican Republic to try and work out the relationship. But, I mean, if you know anything about A-Rod, I'm a baseball fan, as we all know. I have my degree in sports journalism, so I know these things. He's a douchebag.
Yeah, and
From my
She
professional,
deserves-
educated opinion.
She deserves
and
so
it's
much
not
better.
because he played for the Yankees.
No,
I mean,
not
that's
at all.
part of it though.
Yeah, that makes up like 75% of it. But
God hates the
nothing
Yankees.
else.
Agreed. Yeah.
No,
and I'm a
but-
Red Sox fan. I'm from Boston. obviously,
Oh,
so
okay. So that makes sense.
my high school was actually literally right across the street from Fenway Park.
Oh my God. I understand that.
I feel like J-Lo is pretty good at picking douchebags.
Yes, I agree.
I feel like she's had
Yep.
some bad luck in
Mark
the
Anthony.
relationship department.
A-Rod.
Ben Affleck.
Ben Affleck, yeah.
I was sad about Mark Anthony because he's a legend in the Latino
Yeah.
community.
Yeah.
I'd be, getting it in with his songs.
I shipped that hard.
I think it's the pandemic. There's probably something going on with the pandemic and these celebrity couples because, obviously the whole Kanye and Kim thing.
It's probably because they actually have to spend time together now, like a normal couple. Like, this is what it's like to be married. God, this sucks.
So much so that I read somewhere that Kim Kardashian hinted that her divorce from Kanye West was a huge cleanse after he apparently cut off communication.
Oh, I could totally see that for her.
So it's like, all right, I've been with you for so long. Let's cut this off. And now she's like feeling much better. You know what? Good for her.
Yeah.
And honestly, I feel, good for Kanye too.
No.
I'm a Kanye fan. I love Kanye. I've been a Kanye fan since late registration. I love him.
Man.
He's an artist.
Getting rid of Kanye is like a colon cleanse. Like, man.
Flush that out.
I mean,
Flush
there
it
has
out.
to be
Flush
something.
that.
You know how J-Lo picks jerks? And there must be something with the Kardashians as well. So
This
I
is
don't
true.
know.
That's true.
I mean, I know what it is. Like when you look like a Kardashian or when you look like Jennifer Lopez and you could have your pick of pretty much anybody. It's tempting to go for the A-Rods and the Kanye, right? Because they're powerful. They're kind of like, I totally get it. I mean,
they're hot and rich.
yeah.
Kanye has a
I gotta-
song where he's literally like, let's give it up for the douchebags and assholes. Like he
You know,
he
you want to
admits
change
that's what
somebody,
he-
but
yeah. But no,
man.
I'm definitely not like a Kardashian fan, but good for Kim.
Yeah.
Bless that.
He literally got a new phone number, and if Kim wants to contact him, she has to go through his secretary.
Oh my God.
Yeah, something like that.
They have kids together.
Oh, their kids are adorable.
Jeez.
But
And I
That's
think they're
depressing.
staying with Kim. So, I mean, if
Yeah.
anything, I feel like, good for, like, she gets to be there.
I would
don't
hope
think
he
that
does not
she's-
have the stability to take care of kids.
I can't really, I don't like commenting on people's parenting abilities, but I mean, at least she still lets him see the kids whenever he wants.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a shame that they can't like everybody can't be Jason Sudeikis and Olivia Wilde, who like they split and they're still like getting along. She skipped out on the Grammys to go spend time with him and their kids. Like,
Or like Lenny Kravitz and Lisa Bonet. They're my favorite like co-parenting couple. And then like Jason Momoa, like they all hang out. It's like,
yeah,
I don't know, one big happy. We're raising these children. It's not their fault.
who knows? Maybe that's in the future. Maybe it's just too raw right now for Kim and Kanye.
True.
And the thing is too, like, I feel like relationships, it's that. It's like this time where you relate with one another, learn from each other, see where you are similar, see where you're opposite, and then there's times where you start a family and then kind of seeing, how that gets into play. And just people evolving as individuals, and eventually you figure out whether this relationship, whether we can do this longer than we already have.
Yeah.
And the scrutiny of the public eye too. Like, I mean,
Yeah, that too.
marriage. I've been married 9 years. We just celebrated our 9-year anniversary, and
That's a
we've
snap.
been. Thank you. We've been together 13, 14 years, and
That's beautiful.
it's tough sometimes, man. Like
Yeah.
people that are, you only see the highlight reels on Instagram, and
Right.
it's tough, and so I
Now
can't
there's
imagine.
days where it's like a conscious choice, like I'm gonna work at this today.
For sure.
Yeah.
And it's a choice. Like, you choose to stay committed and you choose to overcome certain things. And there's times where it's easy to make the other choice, right? So, I can't imagine doing all of that and raising kids with the public eye and just constant scrutiny and everybody. Jennifer Garner talked about that when she went through her divorce with Ben Affleck, that, she fought really hard against the paparazzi, like chasing down her kids. Her one
so
kid,
sick.
like, couldn't even get into her school building one time because there were just cameras everywhere. Like, I can't imagine trying to go through all the emotions plus dealing with that kind of
Right.
stuff. So, speaking of relationship tension, Nicole, we got to talk about The Bachelor, and you're our go-to guru.
Oh, yes.
Tell us all about it.
Educate us.
Okay. Monday was the finale. There's a lot to unpack. The frontrunner who ended up winning, Rachel Kirkconnell, has a lot of controversy going around about her. So in 2018, there was a picture of her at an antebellum plantation themed party in college.
Ew.
if
She's
you
the one who
don't-
won.
Yes, but he obviously had no idea at the time. They were without phones, without media, everything. So he didn't know what was going on. But it all came out to while the show was running. So the show was over by the time that this all came out. And then they ended up breaking up. They're no longer together because of this. And then Rachel Lindsay, who was a bachelorette, she is black. She was the bachelorette a while ago, and she has her own podcast and stuff. And she interviewed Chris Harrison, who is the host of The Bachelor. And he was kind of sticking up for Rachel in a way. And Rachel
That's
Kirkconnell,
right.
I should say, not Rachel Lindsay, Rachel Kirkconnell. He was kind of sticking up for her, and Rachel Lindsay was getting very offended and upset because, one, he was on her show. Two, what he was defending is wrong.
Indefensible.
Yes, exactly. And so all of that is kind of just still unfolding right now. They announced the next bachelorettes, and there are two. There's usually only one. There's two.
On the same season?
No. So there's going to be one in the summer, and then the fall one will be the next girl.
Wow.
And it's like two fan favorites. It's Katie and Michelle. And Katie is the one, if we want to remember, who brought a toy.
Yes. I'm
Okay.
going to watch that season. That'll be my first season that I finally watch The Bachelorette.
How many seasons are there now?
So for The Bachelor, this was 25. Bachelorette,
Wow.
Katie will be 17.
Wow.
Yes.
And so the host, was it Chris Harrison? He's not coming back, right?
As of right now, no. So there's this thing called After the Final Rose where it's supposed to be Chris Harrison, and then he talks to the former Bachelor, Bachelorette, whoever was the lead, and then their front runner, their winner, stuff like that. On After the Final Rose, it was a guy, Emmanuel
Acho.
Acho, yes. I was like, I know his last name. I just can't say it. Emmanuel Acho. And he is black. I don't know where he's from. I forgot.
He's an NFL player.
Okay. I was like, don't know how they found him, but
he's an NFL player that I think turned into like a sports anchor. So it was an interesting pick.
Yes.
But he's really well spoken and
oh yeah, he did a great job.
He's also very gorgeous.
Also good looking. Yeah. That
to be the
hurt.
shallow one, if I may.
Oh my gosh.
That is a man right there.
Yes, but he did a great job at hosting. I think it was good that they had someone who was black because they were able to understand the emotions and everything that was going on behind Rachel and all the controversy and chaos that's happening right now. So he was able to understand it, whereas if it was Chris Harrison, he wouldn't really know what is going on or the emotions and stuff behind it.
Didn't Rachel, that allegation came out that like a girl said that Rachel bullied her in high school for liking black guys too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that I don't know. I can't confirm if that's true or not. She hasn't said anything about that.
Yeah.
But everything else is
so
true.
Ridiculous to me. Like, when I first heard this whole antebellum party thing, I was like, is this even a real thing? Do people actually do this? And I Googled it, and yeah, it's something that frats do.
In the South.
It's parties that happen.
Yep.
It's like, and the thing is, like, I blame Rachel and I blame America. Because it's just like, first of all, Rachel, why are you so ignorant? Like, how do you not, like, think about what this means? Okay, yeah, I got my little hat with my pretty dress, but you're definitely not checking your privilege because you people that look like you are the ones that are able to dress up like that. Like, do you have any black friends? I doubt it. I didn't see it. When I looked at that picture, I didn't see any black person there. Obviously, I don't think a black person would even attend one of those things.
Oh yeah.
And I blame America because it's kind of how we've been brought up. And the Civil Rights Act, didn't pass until 1964, and that's what ended segregation. So we have parents and like grandparents that were alive during that time.
People don't really realize how recently that was, too. Like,
and
people think
South,
that that's so far removed, but it's really not.
And in the South, those ideologies are still so prevalent. And you're right. I mean, being able to grow up and have, like, she claims, I was just ignorant. I wasn't intentionally doing anything. Now I understand my ignorance was racist. And it's like, well, I mean, how though? Like, how do you get to that point and remain that ignorant as a college student
for your whole life? Yeah.
Right. I mean, that's purposefully kind of living in a bubble.
I don't think they've ever made a genuine connection with a person of color. I mean, and then think about ourselves, like us too, like even just people like other outside of Rachel and just America. Like, how many black people have you grown up with? Like, think like how many black people were at your wedding? Like, just I say this because when I got to college, that was the first time I actually I actually saw white people outside of like growing up in Boston public schools. Like, everybody looked like me. And then when I got to college, it was a complete culture shock. Yeah. And I didn't even know how to act. And I would get all these racist remarks because I knew that these people also didn't see people like me because they were in their own little bubble. And it's like, we just got to pop these bubbles. Yeah. We got to pop these bubbles. We got to check ourselves, check our privilege, and figure out a way to work together.
Yeah.
Amen. Absolutely.
We do. We grow up in these homogenized circles. And, I know I'm definitely guilty of that same thing. I mean, my high school that I went to, like, not only was it primarily white, but it was also like mostly the same religion as me. Like, everyone had these same experiences that I did. And so it wasn't until I went to ASU that I was like, oh, like, I'm the strange one now. Like, I'm the one that's kind of like outside because I don't know half of what all these other people know, and I haven't lived half of these other experiences. And so I know, like, I'm guilty of that too, like having my own biases and my own a lot of privilege that I wasn't even aware of. And so but I feel like The Bachelor, I was reading a lot about it, and I feel like they missed out on a lot of teachable moments and a lot of opportunities to, seize upon what had happened and really educate America. And, I find it hard to believe that Disney didn't know about any of this before casting her.
Right. God, you can't even imagine like the deep dives they must go through on people.
Yeah.
And if this is like a picture from a frat formal, like those things are all over Facebook and I was going to say MySpace, but those things are still on the internet, kids.
My top 8.
Nicole, so like the finale of the show, was it like a normal finale where you take this rose and then they kiss and he proposes and then it went right into like, so actually they broke up? Like how did they kind of transition from like romance and proposal to, okay, now they're broken up? You know what I mean?
Yes. So he had like a very hard childhood. His mom was like a single parent, so his dad wasn't really around. So he struggles with that a lot because he doesn't want to put his future wife in that same predicament where he's not around. So he's like in that mental state where he's like, I need to be 110% fully into this woman and be here for her and only her. So our kids can like have a family, blah, 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 that type of stuff. So at the end, he didn't get engaged because he had a talk with his mom and his brother. And his mom was like, are you really ready for an engagement after however many weeks it was, 6-10 weeks that you've known this woman? Are you ready to be engaged to her?
Thank you, Mom, the voice of reason.
Yes. So at first, before he talked to Mom, I think he would have been engaged. But then after talking to Mom, he wasn't ready for an engagement. So him and Rachel just continue dating. He told her, he's like, I can't propose to you, but that doesn't mean I want to lose you. Like, I just want to continue our journey and see where it takes us. Hopefully it leads to an engagement.
Didn't I say that last season on the Junkies, Nicole? I was like, can't they just like at the end of The Bachelor be like, I propose that we keep on dating. Like, why does it have to be like...
That doesn't make for good television. It has to be all or nothing.
I propose that we get to know each other better. Like, okay, keep going. I'm sorry. I'm here for it so far.
I do remember that actually, though. But yeah, so they didn't get engaged.
Did anybody like apologize or take ownership for like what happened? Did they hash that all out?
Yes. So she did come out and she apologized. She had an Instagram video, which I actually watched, and...
I'm sorry. Did she write her apology in the Notes app?
That's no, like she like did a video, like she like talked face to face to the camera.
I love celebrity apologies in the Notes app. I'm sorry.
But that too, yeah, that's hilarious.
This apology is sponsored by the Notes app.
YouTube apologies are the best. They're just like weeping. I'm sorry, I was a racist misogynist. I'm so sorry.
Okay. I just hope that, there's actually change. But, I'm not trying to make this into a racial, but it's still like, come on. Like, it's common sense.
Yeah, no, totally. Absolutely.
Yeah. What about ABC? Does anybody know if they said anything?
Yeah, they have. I mean, they've obviously been doing their part by taking away Chris Harrison as the host. So I feel like that's a sign in itself that they are trying to make a change. They now have Michelle, who is Black. She will be a bachelorette in the fall. I feel like ABC is also kind of at fault. When they cast these people to be on the show, they are your typical white male or female, and you can just picture them in your head. Mm-hmm. Blonde hair, blue eyes, brunette hair, brown, like typical.
Thin.
So not very diverse.
Big
yeah.
boobed,
exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. So I feel like they need to do better on their part as well. Do you find better people to bring on to the show? I know Reality Steve, he kind of is posting the pictures of the guys who will be on Katie's season, and it's kind of not changing that much, but I don't know.
I have to as someone who hasn't, I haven't been watching for 25 seasons or whatever, but I've seen a few of them. And I think one of the things that turned me off to the show as a whole was, I just always found myself constantly questioning the motives of the people on the show. Like, are you actually there to try to find a relationship, or are you just there to try to get your 10 seconds of fame and, launch your health supplements campaign or something,
get the sponsorships.
So I feel like somewhat with ABC, when they're casting, it's like cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. They look at these, classic Barbie doll type figures, and they're like, oh, you know, who's going to make us the most money and things like that. And so, yeah.
Who's got big personalities, too, I think, is like...
Who's going to cause drama.
Yeah, and that's for any reality show that you cast for. It's like... aging myself, but like Real World Road Rules or whatever. It's like you have to like, who's gonna barf? Who's gonna go to jail? Like, I don't know. Who's gonna bring the sex toy out of the limo? I am here for her. I have not watched any of that, but what's her name? Sex
Katie.
toy girl? Katie. What's up, Katie? I hope you find love. I'm here for it.
She's great.
Toy girl. Oh my gosh. I did see the part of the finale, by the way, where Matt is talking to his mom and getting her advice. And I don't know if you picked up on this, but he is like oddly caressing her leg for like a long period of time. And it was wildly uncomfortable.
I agree. I was like, does he know he's doing this to his mother and it's not Michelle?
Really? Oh my God, I'm gonna have to watch
Rachel. I'm like,
later.
I get that you're close, but you should not be that close.
Yes, I saw that.
Amy Annie's a mama's boy. It's all right.
Oh, I was like, that should have been in the first episode and shown to all the women before they decided to continue going on with this.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, as a mama's boy myself, I don't think.
Do you caress your mom's legs?
Mama's thighs off limits.
Especially as a grown man. Come on.
There's a don't touch your mama zone. And it's on her thigh.
Yeah, he was going pretty high up, too. It was like very weird.
Stop.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Again, it made for compelling television.
I'm glad I'm not the only one that saw that.
To watch. I want to watch like a TikTok of it awkwardly zooming in or something.
I will send you a Snapchat video of it. I still have it on my DVR. I'll just go to that point.
Yeah, I saw it on Instagram stories, and it was just like someone laughing the whole time over the background. And the guy who posted it, he's like, that went on for a lot longer than I actually posted it.
Yes.
Like he just showed a short clip. I loved it. It reminded me of, okay, if you guys haven't heard of this, I got to plug this real quick. There's a show called Burning Love that is a parody of The Bachelor. And it stars everybody from like Wet Hot American Summer, like that whole crew of people.
That sounds hilarious then.
And
automatically hilarious.
It is mind-blowingly hilarious. Like, I can't even put it into words. It was one of those things I accidentally stumbled upon, like on Hulu one time, and binged it all in 2 days. And oh my gosh, you will cry with laughter. It pokes fun of all the tropes on these shows. Ken Marino is the Bachelor, and he's a fireman. There's a lot of innuendo about his hose. I mean, you gotta watch it. You will not regret it. There's one season that is The Bachelor, and there's one season that's The Bachelorette.
That sounds hilarious. I'm gonna have to
find
give that
Burning
a whirl.
Love and binge that. Yeah,
that sounds like fun.
I did tag Nicole in some like Instagram reel that was like me on The Bachelor, and she's just like, "No, I haven't talked to him in a while. Oh, can I get another glass of champagne? Wait, he wanted to go on a date? No, we can do that tomorrow. Another glass of champagne? Can I get?" It was like, what am I doing on The Bachelor?
That's so funny.
And I was like,
That's
this would absolutely be me. Just like, I have a private kitchen while I'm here. I get a lot of champagne. And I get to live in a mansion for a while. That's cool. He doesn't need to go on a date with me.
True.
Oh, man. Well, here's hoping that the upcoming seasons are better, an improvement. From this one,
and for the rest of TV too.
Yeah,
like this is a learning experience for not only The Bachelor but every other show that's out there.
Absolutely, I completely agree. Let's keep our fingers crossed for more diversity and inclusion, and just more voices in the directors and producers and writers' rooms. Man, it's one thing to like, oh wow, look, we cast a black person or we cast a woman, but like let's get some diverse voices like in the where it begins.
Yeah.
And meaningful representation, not just, hey, look, we threw somebody in there, now give us a pat on the back, but actually giving, good storylines in the fictional narratives and, amplifying those voices for sure.
Yeah. Well, I agree with all the statements. I think it's time to wrap it up here. Thanks for listening to Pop Culture Junkie Podcast. So, guys, where can everybody find you on the social webs?
You can find me on Instagram at Shauna Trinidad, ShaunaTrinidad. That is also my name on Twitter. Okay.
Tweeter.
The tweeter. You can find me on the
You can find me on the tweeter where I post the tweets.
I post the tweets on the tweeters.
Well, then you can find me at alcasnoon on Instagram and the tweeters as well. That's alcasnoon, short for Alexander Castillo Nunez, for those that don't get it. ALCASNUN.
You can find me on Instagram at 30 Nerdy Thriving, and on the Twitter at 30 Nerdy Pod, and on Facebook 30 Nerdy Thriving 2.
And then you can find me on Instagram and TikTok at Nicole_Eldridge. And you could find me on Twitter, because I am not a boomer, at NAEldridge14.
There's nothing I love more than being called a boomer by Generation Z, by the way.
Right.
Everybody, please make sure to like and subscribe to the Pop Culture Junkie podcast and review, only if they're good. I'm just kidding. You can give us whatever review you really think, but please send good ones anywhere that podcasts can be found. And please look at our website, popculturejunkie.com. You can find all of our social media handles there. Okay, thanks for listening. Bye.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Woohoo.
Woo-hoo.
Pop Culture Junkie is a production of Pop Culture Entertainment Group. All rights reserved.